Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm Russell 31. We have a truck race. Yes, it's Thursday. Lots of sports going on. So check out the channel. We have a Major League Baseball video. It starts at 6:50. We have NFL football. So there's a showdown slate for that. There's some soccer going on all day, WNBA. So go to the description of the video and you can get to the link to our pricing page. Just for $6, you can get to the Discord and get all the information you need for all the sports tonight. What a great night for Thursday, Friday Eve, way to kick it off. So, night race, Bristol, 200 laps here. Thank God they're not doing dirt here anymore. It's going to be 50 laps less than the spring race. And we've just seen like 1 to 2 dominators here. Kyle Busch dominated with 105 laps, and then Eckes won the race, leading the final 144. So, and the races before that, taking out the dirt race, it's been pretty much just follow the leader. The back of the field gets lapped pretty fast, and they don't have like P1 or anything down, so like you really can't get a second groove. There'll be some banging and some hurt feelings at the end of it. I'm pretty sure it's the second race in the round of the playoffs. So the first race was won in the Milwaukee Mile by Lane Riggs, who we knew was coming, and good job there. And he still seems to be in great form here, which we saw um, in practice here. We'll get to him in a few seconds. But that means that nobody automatically advances. So Majeski, Eckes, and Heim are like 40 points up. So they're in a good spot, just risking, as long as there's no disaster, should be able to go to Kansas and be able to move on to the next round. Sanchez about 30 points up, so he's a little bit lighter shade of green. He should still be good, but not guaranteed. Gray and Ankrum are somewhere in the teens to 20s above, but there's like I think between Kruth, Dye, Enfinger and Rhodes. One of them's +9, one of them's like -5. So it's only 16 points separating him. So those guys are two guys will not make it after next week's race. So will they start to be conservative and go for stage points, or will they continue to try to fight it out here and do as well as they can and rely on Kansas, which isn't a complete wild card track? It is a track that they should be able to point their way in if as long as they're not too far behind. So I don't think that it's going to cause a lot of issues rostering playoff drivers tonight. That I think they will go for some stage points, but I do think track position is key. Such a short race here; they only need one pit stop, so we'll see how that plays. It shouldn't be issues with fuel unless it goes like overtime, overtime. There have been like cautions here, anywhere from like 5 to I think there was one race that had like 11, but I think that's kind of rare. There are some accidents here, but it's more like you're putting a bunch of cars in a blender than like at a super speedway where one car is going to take out the whole field. So Connor Zilich gets the pole. Did really good at Watkins Glen. He's going to be in the Junior Motorsports car in Xfinity next year. Went out there and won that race. So I think a lot of people are going to be pretty high on him. He's in the 7 truck, which Kyle Busch was in for the race here in the spring that led 105 laps. I know he's not Kyle Busch, but still it's really good equipment, really good team. And being out there on the pole shows you that he had some speed in practice. He could go out there and lead a lot early. Corey Heim could also get out there early and lead the race. Heim started 15th, worked his way up to 6th in the spring race. Didn't lead any laps, but definitely has the potential to get out there and be a dominator. Raja Kruth, I think he's going to be my first 20K driver here because I think people are really going to uh, not consider him here. He has some room to make up for the playoffs, so maybe I think he's going to be conservative and stay out there for stage points and not really try to go for the win or track position with anything wild. Again, with one pit stop here, that kind of takes a short pitting out of um, the equation. And what's going to happen is I think people are going to look back and be like, he started 6th, finished 8th, had a pretty pedestrian day here in the spring. That's not up upside for me, but I think that he's got some potential to maybe get out there and be an upside dominator. So he'll be my 20K lineup. Swalich and Friesen, again, just racing for trophies. Swalich isn't in the series normally, but he's in the Tricon. It's probably the second all-star truck compared to the seven's probably the biggest all-star truck. And then the Tricon #1, they rotate some pretty good talent through and has had some success this season. Friesen's had a down year, not in the playoffs. So I think both these guys could potentially dominate the race and do well, or they could potentially fall. It's pretty 50-50, low ownership, so I'm not really going to touch them. Nicholas Sanchez is the second 20K guy that I'm going to look at here. Had some good speed in practice, started six. I think people are going to look at him and see like he started second, really struggled in the spring, finished 17th. So I think that they might think that he's going to fall out here, but I think that he could hang in there and be kind of surprising. Um, Maybe finish in the top five, hold his position. I know the price is a little bit steep here. You want to try to get some dominator points, but I think he's got some upside to do that. Won't have a ton of ownership, so he'll be a 20K driver for me. Daniel Dye. I think he's an upside dominator. I think he's starting too far forward. It's kind of surprising me the playoffs here. Um, but it's good team. It's got a good future, but I think out of the priority, like Ekis and Ankrum are probably going to have most of it, and they're throwing like another truck in here with Corey Day. So like, how long are we going to go before like they had so many trucks that they're really going to start to water down the program and run into issues? Um, I don't think that's going to be the case, but Dye, I think he has some upside just where he's starting here and would practice, but more of a GPP play. Akis, I think, is going to be it's definitely my first prime play here for how well he's dominated on these types of tracks. Had a very strong season, a strong contender to win the title here. Has the place differential upside starting eighth, could go out there and dominate and win the race. Did it in the spring and led 144 laps, so nothing but upside there. Chase Purdy and Tanner Gray, I think, are GPPs. Tanner's still in the playoffs, has a little bit to do, might play a little bit conservative. Chase Purdy, really nothing to race for, but I think that I don't think he's going to hold a top 10 position. Matt Crafton, really like him here also. One that started in 20th place and moved up to fourth in the spring, knows the track really well, knows like how to make some moves to advance in a track that's really hard to do so and looked pretty good in practice to me. So I think he's going to have high ownership, and I think he's got some a little bit of place differential, should have a solid finishing position. Love the price tag at 77. Racing for trophies, not for titles, so that's another incentive to go out there and go for the win and not worry about stage points and things like that. Ty Dillon, stuff on Parsons, have had decent years, have had decent races, starting way too far forward for me here. I think they're a fade. Uh, Ankrum has some work to do here. 87. I have him as a cash play. I almost put him as GPP just because he started ninth and finished fifth before. So um, should be able to get up into the top 10, but I've seen him just get into too much trouble sometimes. So it's probably why he's going to have medium ownership. And some people play him as GPP, but I think you could probably sneak him into your cash lineups. Enfinger, I think, is another one that has a lot of upside. He's got a lot of work to do here. So, but I don't think he's a 15 place truck. I think um, he started 13th and finished ninth in the spring. So definitely has some potential to move forward here. So solid cash play for me. Same thing with Taylor Gray. Not in the playoffs, but had a solid season, had some speed. Started seventh, finished third here. Actually started third, finished seventh. So he fell back a little bit, but everybody can advance. And I think he's had a solid enough season that he should be okay. Dean Thomas, we've seen him hanging around up in the top 15, has been consistent. So I think he can be a GPP play here at 7K. Lane Riggs is going to be final prime play here. Just what we saw at Milwaukee, it's all coming together for this young driver. And it's a shame he didn't make the playoffs. He was very close. But I think next year, if he stays in the Truck Series, he's definitely going to have uh, be one of the contenders. He reminds me a lot of, even though he's driving for Ford and not for Toyota, like Corey Heim. He gets it, he understands it. He's got a lot of potential. He's got a good team behind him, and should this is the same truck that Zane Smith had success in. So I think that he'll be able to get up there and do pretty well. So see Ty Majeski. I think that he's starting way far back here. I think he'll be pretty popular. Didn't like necessarily how he did in practice, and obviously didn't qualify super well here. So, and he didn't have a great race in the spring, he started fifth and he had an engine failure and finished 34th. So I think he's got a floor, but I think he really needs to go up there. I have him as a cash play, a borderline GPP, just because he really probably needs to go up and lead in order to be able to get be in the optimal lineup. But I think he does have the potential to do that. Pretty safe in the playoffs, so can take some shots here. But it, again, I like Ekis better, but if you're looking for a little bit more place differential and save you about 300 bucks, then if you want to be looking trade in your lineup, then switch him out and make him the third prime with Crafton and Riggs, and it might give you a little bit more salary to try to get up to one of the dominators like Zolich or Heim. Mosaic and Garcia, nothing, $100 apart there. I think both of them probably finish where they start. Nothing super exciting. Corey Day comes in, gets in another MHR truck here, the 81. So not a truck that runs regularly, but he's pretty talented and someone that could go out there and surprise some people. So we're going to put him as the final 20K driver. Tyler Jones, I think, is pretty solid in the Store Sports truck, 6,600. Does start way in the back of the field. So I like where he qualified. I like how he practiced, and I think he's a solid floor for a cash play. Jack Woods, I think he can stay right at the top 25, maybe fall back a little bit. So GPP for me. Ben Rhodes knows the track really well, 92. He's got some place differential here, so that's pretty sweet. But I don't know if he needs to get up, like how far he needs to get up to be able to pay off his price tag at 92. Better options, probably. I don't think he's going to get lapped. I think he'll be able to move forward. A lot to do to try to make up some ground in the playoffs because he's right around that cut line. So I think we'll see that turns into incentive. He's going to be a board nine in GPP, but I love the potential for place differential here. So I think he's got the floor for cash. Curry, I think, and Hill are going to be very popular value plays because I think they're pretty much the cutoff for where you want to be for drivers that aren't going to get lapped really fast and can move up. But Holmes, Allen, and Mills, I think you can play in the GPP range. But once you get to like the 30s here, Boyd, Maggio, Tyler, Thomas, he is coming into Young brought two like new guys in. So what are my notes on here? He's 21, he's run some market races, finished in the teens. He was 31st in trucks and IRP. So no thank you there. Keith McGee usually is a back marker, probably going to be multiple laps down. Justin Mondiak, they brought in also. He's late model asphalt, not dirt driver from Wisconsin, 26 years old. I think they think these Young thinks that these two gentlemen have some potential, but I don't think that they have the experience or the equipment, obviously, for how they practice and qualified. I think they're going to go multiple laps down. But Caden Honeycutt has had a very good season. He is not a driver that belongs in the 30s. He should be able to get past these guys if he can stay out of trouble early and not get wrecked early. And I think he's going to be very popular. And because he could probably get maybe up to 10 place differential points. So I think a lot of people are going to play him. Again, it's a little bit dangerous starting this far in the back at Bristol. So because the leader's going to cut you very fast. So that's why I'm as cash play and not in the prime play. But I think that, he could be considered core in some aspects. I just get a little bit weary about who he's starting around and like how fast he could potentially get lapped. So I got for you. I will try to be back tomorrow night. Same thing. You only have like a couple hours before lock, so I'll try to bang out a video for that too. And it should be back to normal with when we come back for the. It's gonna be Saturday night race instead of Sunday, but I should have a show. Probably put out sometime early Saturday morning for that one. So thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Hit me up, McGregor31 on Twitter or X. I'm going to get out of here so that I can get this posted so you can watch it before the race starts. So good luck in your contests and continue to come back to the channel for the rest of the weekend, and we'll have videos to help you out with many different things. So thanks for watching, McGregor31. Good luck in your contest, and I'll see you next time.